everybody. Happy holidays. Happy solstice. Have a Merry Christmas to everybody. We're going to do a quick update video. So I'm going to wait for some people to join in if they want to join in. But it's been about 3 or 4 years since I talked about this, and how things have changed. And I wanted to do an update about my original video, because in fact the old video I did on this subject was the most dislikes I've ever gotten. I got like 90 or 100 likes and like 20 something dislikes. I never usually get that many dislikes. And you know, it's been about 3 or 4 years since I talked about this on a video, so I think greetings. I think I should do a little update. Some misconceptions by some people. I hurt some people's feelings in the video I did, by some of my views and opinions about my encounter that I had. And over the last 3 or 4 years, so much more has evolved. My views have changed. Certain things that I've been allowed to understand more about my mission here and the cosmic, the grand conjunction, the acceleration of who we are is upon us. And I think I was a little naive back when I had this encounter, maybe 17 years ago now. And then even 3 or 4 years ago when I did a video about it, I still was a little bit, I think, naive about my experience and my encounter and what it all meant. Now, in 2003, good morning. Hey, Melinda. Good morning. Now, you guys can see. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, brother. Hold on, let me park. Now, hold on. The Elven Realm, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Malik, Mahatma is on site. The Elven Realm, thank you so much, Gary, Melinda, everybody out there. Now, in 2003, I did a video, a White's encounter at the Golden Nugget Casino in 2003. And I recently checked that video a couple hours ago. For some reason, I found it on my YouTube, and I saw it exploded with views over the last few weeks and months. Because it originally had like only a couple of hundred views, and then all of a sudden now it's got 5,000 views, and over 5,000 views, and 23 people had disliked it, which I don't usually get that many dislikes. And I saw some of the people's comments in there. Now I wanted to do an update video about this, because at the end of the video I made a statement that I feel that the Tall Whites and even Val Thor might be lying to us about why they're here and all this. And I wanted to state that a little bit and clarify, because I've been shown a lot more in the last 3 or 4 years. And when I had this encounter 17 years ago, I was pretty naive to the grander scheme of things. And it was not, now I know this was not a chance encounter that I had just experienced during my trip to California. Some of the most intense experiences that a person can go through in this reality. I witnessed some sort of parallel dimension with all these little people in the park. While I was playing guitar one night, I had this like man appear to me with fiery red eyes and offer me basically like a contract. I know it sounds crazy, but this really happened, and I was experiencing spirits and my grandmother's perfume all over me, and the spirit energy was around me. I had an encounter with the police, and it was like some sort of military abduction, maybe, possibly, that happened. All this happened while I was out on my trip to California, and I was just let out there in 2002. Now, on my way home from that trip in late 2003, I was taking a bus back to New York after being out there for two and a half years in California, and we had to go through Las Vegas on it was like three nights and 4 days. I mean 4 nights and three days. You know, it was like, I think it was like 4 nights and 3 days that we were going on from you know, from the port of, I mean, from 16th Street in Long Beach to the Port Authority in New York City. So we went through Las Vegas and all that, Texas, right? So one of our layovers was in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was like over an hour and a half layover, and it was in the middle of the night, like two or three in the morning, something like that. And I got off the bus, and at the time I wanted to go get some weed for the trip. And knowing me at that time, friggin' 17 years ago, that I would have even missed the bus if I couldn't get it. So like, I went to go on a mission. So I saw the Golden Nugget Casino right across the street from the bus stop, and I decided to go over there. I sat down in the Golden Nugget Casino. I got like nickel slots or some, you know, cheap slots, and I was kind of looking for somebody that I could talk to that might know where I could get some weed, right? So I didn't even realize the person sitting next to me the whole time, you know, because they had a baseball cap down, and it looked like a young boy or young girl. I couldn't tell. Really light neck skin I saw, and a baseball hat. And I thought the person at first was either an addict, real sick, or like, you know, cancer patient or something, because, you know, the hat, it looked like there was balding hair tucked in, right? So I didn't bother with the person. They were playing slot machines right next to where I was. And I had made a connection there with some guy that worked there. I had to meet him outside at the payphone. He was going to get me like $20 worth of weed or whatever, right? So I even think that guy was kind of sent to me in a way. I really think, I thought this was a chance encounter. I do think I was being even monitored to make sure I even got back on the bus and everything went smoothly. That I was even being monitored the whole way back home. And we all play a little piece in this whole grand scheme. And I think there's certain people on the planet that we're here to help turn certain keys. And I think this encounter I had with this person next to me, she was even upset, or you know, maybe like she couldn't, like, she was frustrated with having to even be there in related to me, because of how, you know, I was still a punk at that time, kind of, in many ways. You know, I was a little naive to certain things. And even though I was going through all these mystical experiences, and I was in my, you know, in my 20s, but I was still a little, I was advanced for in my 20s, there were still things that were naive about me, right? There were still things that I was still learning about life. And I think she was like frustrated at the point I was at as well. And because she even imprinted fear on me. Because when I had gone, talked to this guy, I was going to meet him outside to get some weed at the payphone, right? So I went back to my place where I was playing slot machines. And I was like preoccupied with myself, you know, thinking about other things. So I went to go grab my cup that I had my quarters in. And instead of reaching down to grab my cup, I think I grabbed the cup next to me, which was her cup. And immediately, as soon as my hand went on it, her hand went on mine. Like instant reaction, like a laser. Like, she just, boom, she didn't even look at me. Didn't even look at me at first. She just put her hand on mine. And when her hand touched mine, that's when I looked, right? And her hand felt like pure, powdery white, the softest of soft. And it was a cold feeling even to it. And immediately when she touched my hand, I looked up at her, and it was like a young boy's or young girl's voice. You know how a young boy can almost sound like a girl? She was like, "You don't want to grab that one." And when she said that to me, there was fear that was projected into me, almost like that she could like tear my head off type fear. And I backed away. just, there's something reacted in me, like that got ingrained in me from just that one glance we had. And she had very sunken in eyes, but the eyes were way bigger than normal, and very powdery white face, very thin it went thin to a point at the chin. She almost looked like she was like, she could be like a junkie or like my first thought was not alien at the time. My first thought was like she's sick or something to that effect, right? And it wasn't until later on where I realized, wow, I heard the guy Charles Hall talk about the tall whites and all of this, and it really reacted in me. And I do think that we haven't been told the truth of why they're here, even Val Thor. I do not think even the truth has been relayed to us why they're here. I think Val Thor actually came from our future, and in our future we live beneath the planet. Some of us live beneath the Venus. We've branched off, and I think he was written into our matrix. He didn't even have a natural birth. That in the future we know our code and we can manifest life inside the matrix, write the code in, and that's how he was born. And there's a lot more to be revealed. I wanted to do an update because it's been 3 or 4 years since I talked about this. So much love, guys. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll get back later. I gotta run. Take care.